Hi guys, today we're going to make a frittata. This will use mostly things that you already have in your kitchen, again, because that's kind of the goal here. And it's going to use some things that are hot commodities in terms of some eggs and milk, but you can really feed your family pretty well on this and for pretty inexpensively too. So it's also a really great way to use up little bits of things that you might have in your fridge. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Today I'm coming at you from my medicine cabinet setup into my kitchen. So we'll see if this works better. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat over like a medium high. Let's see how many times it takes me to remember to put this in first. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of my pan. I'm going to use a cast iron pan. You could use something else though, it does not have to be cast iron. I would suggest non-stick. If you don't have any non-stick, then use a good amount of like butter and olive oil. I would suggest using a little bit of both. If you don't have that, then use some canola oil, will be fine. Olive oil has a lower smoke point, so it's going to smoke faster. Same with butter, but they do make some really good flavor, especially mixed. So I happen to have a Yukon Gold potato, so that's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to cut it into fairly thin. Maybe you have some like frozen hash browns or potatoes with brine or something, that would work. Or if you don't have any potatoes, you absolutely do not have to have potatoes for this. So I just cut some kind of thin slices out of these. I want them to be pretty even. That one's kind of a big chunk there. And I'm just gonna start cooking these and brown them, because remember when we talked about vegetables, potatoes take a little bit longer to cook, and you guys know that anyway. But potatoes take a little longer to cook than say like, peas or corn or something like that. So we want them to get some more time in there before I add eggs, because we know they don't take that long to cook. So I'm gonna do pretty much a single layer. It's maybe a little bit over a single layer. I don't love that piece, so I'm gonna ditch it. That's all I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use one potato. My potatoes are pretty big. Like I said, they're Yukon Golds. This works great with like new potatoes. You could use russets. Like I said, you could use frozen. Any of those would work fine. So I've got that going. In the meantime, I'll show you the rest of my mise en place. This is really simple. A frittata is an egg bake. It's basically, a quiche without the crust. You could make a quiche if you wanted to for this also. I've got 8 eggs in here. Like I said, I know eggs are a hot commodity, so hopefully you can find some at your store right now. I've got 8 eggs, and I'm going to put a splash of milk. This is about 1/4 cup that I'm going to pour in here. If you don't have milk, or if you use a different kind of milk, that will work just fine. Don't worry about that. But I do prefer just a little bit of milk in this. I don't put milk in my scrambled eggs, like I already told you, but I do put milk in with my frittata. I have some salt and pepper. I'm going to do that once we get into the pan. I'm just going to see if these guys want to be stirred a little bit. Don't forget, if you're using cast iron, the handle will be hot too. So something that kind of helps me is to just, stick this over the top of this somehow so that I remember. Otherwise, I'm afraid I will forget and just touch it anyway. So I just kind of leave that over the top. If they're sticking, it sometimes means that they're kind of talking to you and it doesn't want to be moved yet. And I'm not trying to cook these potatoes all the way. Okay, the other thing that you can do right now while you get this going is to go ahead and preheat your oven. Anywhere from 350 to 400 is really fine. I did 375 for a nice middle of the road. The recipe that I'm posting online is just kind of a suggestion, a guideline. So as I'm talking through this, you'll know you don't have to follow that exactly. I also have some Canadian bacon because I had that in my fridge. This works well. This is the one I was talking about in the beginning with. You could use whatever protein you have. So if you had beans, I've even made it with like leftover pulled pork works. If you have, already cut ham in the fridge, you can use deli meat. If you like deli meat, you can use just about anything. Or, you don't have to use any meat or protein substitutions at all if you don't want to. But those do tend to work pretty well. This is a nice, like hearty, fulfilling, but healthy dinner, breakfast. What I'll usually do is cook a pan, and then I will, just like the oatmeal, I'll just reheat it. I'll just reheat it throughout. If you already watched the oatmeal video, I said I was going to give it to my kids as soon as I walked upstairs. My oldest son ate it all. So he had a giant bowl of oatmeal. I think that was like his, 1 p.m. snack or whatever it is when you're a 6-year-old boy and you want to run around your yard all day, so you're hungry. So I'm going to cook these just a little bit more. Remember, potatoes get like kind of translucent as they cook. They change as they cook. So I can tell these are getting nice and brown also. So I'm just gonna move these over to the side a little bit. Move that one way over to the side, I guess. And I am going to sear off a few pieces of this Canadian bacon. I like this to be a little bit crisp on the outside. And then this is kind of like an upside down cake. In the end, we'll take our pan and we'll turn it over. You don't have to. So that's how I always do it, is turn it over onto a plate and slice it. So whatever you have, at the bottom is going to be your top eventually. So I guess that's what you guys would call extra. I like to make it kind of pretty on the top if I can. Cast iron pan is going to get a little more brown, but I really like those crisp parts of potatoes and ham and stuff like that. So, hi.
What's that?
That is frittata.
Can we have what? Can we have dinner?
Yes. Oh, and I'm making a video right now.
A dinner?
A video right now for my students.
Hi, I'm Owen.
Hi, this is Owen. Remember I told you that he ate all the oatmeal?
Yep.
The one that
I ate all the oatmeal from episode 1. And I'm gonna eat all of Mommy's dinner.
Okay.
Except the ham.
Okay.
And the potatoes.
Okay, sounds good. Go find something to work on for a little bit.
Where's Daddy?
Find something to do for a while. I'm almost done, okay? I'll make you a different one that doesn't have ham.
Okay.
Because this is the stuff you like. Daddy and I will eat this one.
Oh,
Davis. My 2-year-old will eat all of this.
What?
Go find something else to do, okay?
Why?
I gotta finish. Okay, so that's in. I like spinach. Oh, and like spinach with smoothies.
No, I don't. Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, oh yeah, you do. Now remember, spinach wilts really quickly. I'm actually gonna leave that kind of on one side. I have some cooked peppers and onions, so in my serving, I would even put my leftover cooked peppers and onions. It's kind of like when you make a salad and you can dump everything on it. You can kind of dump everything on this too. So I put spinach kind of on one half because my husband doesn't love spinach in his. And then Swiss cheese. So this can go in now or it can go in later, whatever you prefer. You can hear my ham still popping in there. My potatoes are of course still cooking because the pan is hot, so of course it's going to still cook. And then I'm kind of arranging things because for a frittata, as soon as I dump the eggs on top, I'm really not going to move them anymore. So I whisked my eggs, like I said. I'm going to do some seasoning now that the salt isn't just going to sit and burn. Remember, ham is pretty salty, so I wouldn't add a ton of salt to that. Add some now. And then I'm going to use some Swiss cheese. I just had part of a bag left over. This is actually straight out of my freezer, but this will work totally fine. So I'm going to use some Swiss cheese. Ham, Swiss, and eggs are a really great combination, and potatoes. I have a feeling the 6-year-old will be back any minute when he realizes Daddy is not downstairs. Okay, and then this, once I dump this over the top, I'm done like moving this at all. So you can go ahead and finish cooking it right here on your stovetop, or you can put it in the oven. So I'm going to dump this on top, and then it's basically, as you guys can see, it's just enough egg to really cover my other ingredients, and then I'm going to put this in the oven. Okay. I'm going to cook this. I'm going to put it on for about 15 minutes. I'll check it before then, but it'll take maybe 15 minutes. What I'm looking for is the eggs to be set. So when I shake the pan, The middle won't be jiggly anymore. It'll look a little bit like wet still in the middle because I don't want my eggs to be overcooked because then they're tough. But it will be, you know, not just a jiggle in the middle anymore, just a very slight move to it in the middle. So I am going to let that cook for a little bit and then I will be back. Okay, so I'm back and this is out of my oven and it is cooked. When I shook it, it just jiggled just barely in the middle. But you can see that it still looks, it doesn't look completely dry on top, like it still looks wet just a little bit. So I'm just gonna take a butter knife and run it around the edges of this. And then you can absolutely serve it straight from the pan if you want to, or see I have the kind of crispy bottom. In a cast iron skillet, it's gonna be extra crispy. To save dishes, you can just cut it and serve it just like this. This reheats, like I said, really, really nicely. Put a little bit of hot sauce on this and it's really good. Maybe serve it with some homemade biscuits because those are pretty easy to make. If you can get your hands on flour, butter, and milk, which are also, like I said, hot commodities right now, then you'll be good to go there. About 1/4 of this is what I consider a serving because remember I used 8 eggs, so it's about 2 eggs in a serving, a little bit of potato. Lots of you could probably eat this whole thing though, but know that you can put in whatever vegetables that you want to and it'll work pretty well. So that is the end. This is a frittata. I hope you enjoy yours and that your family enjoys yours. See you next time.